The Podfather.
The Podfather. We're locked and loaded. What's up, Pete? How you doing, buddy?
I'm back and better than ever. Good to see you again, Ross.
You too, man. Just did one a week ago, and now we're back in the studio. So we're trying to churn them out because we've got a lot of wonderful guests to get to, and here we are.
Yeah, we are back on it. Lots of stories, like you said. I'm really excited about today. I don't know about you.
Absolutely. This is a really, really special local runner who happens to be our guest. It's Katie Crane, and we're going to jump right into it. What's up, Katie? How you doing?
I am fabulous and excited to be here.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for coming, Katie. We appreciate it. I know sometimes Sunday afternoons are a little hard to give up some time, especially with how much you've been on the road the last few weeks. I'm sure you're looking forward to a little bit of downtime at home. So thank you again for giving up a Sunday afternoon for a little bit for us.
No, thank you guys for having me. I'm super excited. I'm so privileged to be a part of this.
Oh, this is great. Is this your first podcast?
Yes.
Well,
so don't blame me if I'm nervous.
Well, it's about time.
Yeah, sweet. Well, I think this is my 12th one. So we're right there. We're right there.
So I'm with the professionals at least.
Something
you guys can help me.
Ever seen that Will Ferrell movie, Semi-Pro? That's
Yes.
kind of how
Oh
I feel.
my gosh.
Ross is the Jackie Moon of podcasts. He is the Jackie Moon.
Oh, that's great.
You have a reputation now.
Okay, here we go. Gotta live up to something. It's a little scary. Hey, you've been on the move. Where you been the last month?
Oh my goodness. Let's see. Chicago recently, ran the Chicago Marathon. I was in Hawaii for a week, just living, honestly, my best life. And then got home the very next day. I went over to Sonoma County for a wine weekend, because who doesn't need that to recover from Hawaii?
Vacation after vacation. It makes perfect sense. It's called recovery.
Yeah, building blocks of just living the best.
We'll get to Chicago coming up, which is an exciting story to reveal to our listeners. But I want to talk a little bit about Hawaii. You were climbing some pretty sweet mountains and getting some spectacular views, weren't you?
I am not going to lie. Hawaii is just a magical place. I did so many hikes. Some of them might have been a little sketchy. Hiking down ridges, like slightly terrified. One misstep might mean something we don't want to talk about, but the views were spectacular, and you can't even ask for a better place to just get some downtime. And I'll admit, downtime for me means hiking lots of miles, so there's that.
Yeah, and some of the clips on social media were unbelievable. How did you film those?
Mostly with my iPhone. I do also have a GoPro that I'll bring along as a little extra, because I love the GoPro for the stabilization. So if I'm bouncing up and down, it doesn't look and make everyone nauseous.
Shaky hands as you're walking on some sketchy trails there.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. There was one, and I'd done it once before, so I kind of knew what I was getting into. But it had also been kind of drizzly, so it's muddy, and some of the steps are just deep cliffs to either side. But the views, and it was magical. One of the hikes, I'm hiking along, and it's kind of drizzling, and then a rainbow comes out on top of the Nepali coast. It was like one of those moments where you think, this is fake, right? Like, it was just perfect. I felt like the world was smiling down on me.
Yeah, that's a moment for sure.
And not only getting some beautiful hikes in, but you don't ever stop running. So you got a couple runs in. Is that true?
Yeah, there was a lot of runs, which I have to say, running in Hawaii, it's a little different. The humidity was like, it was super humid. It's already, 80 degrees by 9 a.m. So I'm not going to say the runs were as long as I wanted, but they were lovely. And I have this path that I always take that's right along the coast. So it's just a gorgeous paved bike path that just runs along the side of that island. And it's like running in heaven.
Okay, wait. You said a path you always take? Is this like a yearly adventure that you take over there?
I have gone to Kauai 3 times now in the last 2 years. So,
nice. And
I always stay in the same general little town, Kapa'a. But yes, there's this beautiful path, and it's stupid. Let's be real. You can't ask for better views.
Well, what part of Kauai is that?
It is the east side, I do believe.
Okay. Yeah.
I have to try to orient myself, but yeah, east side. I love staying there though, because it's kind of an equal distance driving north or south. So depending on what adventure you want to do, you're kind of centrally located. And let's face it, my running path, pretty much a game changer for me.
Yeah, for real. Well, maybe next time you go run around the whole island, is that?
They do have some interesting runs over there, and I've considered them.
Okay.
Yeah. Kauai Marathon is like the first weekend of September, so maybe next year.
Ross, maybe we should go run that too and do a pod on site over there.
That's
A running podcast on the run.
Yes.
Yeah.
Katie
At a luau with some coconut water.
Yes. And Kahlua pork.
Okay,
and some poi. Yeah, all of it.
Oh, yes.
Well, and if we're with Katie, it's like we're with the locals.
Yeah,
so.
right.
Okay, so amazing adventures in Chicago and Hawaii recently, and really just a special opportunity for us to have you on the show. I mean, it's not every day you get a chance to talk to a 6-star marathon status, like someone who's finished the world's major marathons. That's pretty amazing. Not only that, you've hit 2,000 miles for the year. You're like the Energizer Bunny out there, just going and going and going, and so impressive with all your runs and all your training. I mean, we're trying to set the tone of this podcast because you're running towards greatness, from global finish lines to Chico trails. You're running with heart, grit, and purpose. So we want to talk all things running and all things amazing with Katie Crane. And let's start here. How did you get into running?
Funny. So growing up, I would run some. I was never like a huge runner. I mean, I ran track when I was in middle school and grade school, and would run a couple miles here and there in high school. And of course, hit college and quit doing pretty much anything except studying and working.
Sounds
and
familiar, minus the studying. Yeah. Quit doing anything, including studying. Yes.
By the end of the college, I was definitely like, all right, I need to start taking a little bit better care of myself. So what's so funny is people always ask me like, oh, you've been running forever, right? And I'm like, no. When I first started to try to run, I couldn't run a mile straight, and it about broke my heart because I went out to run a mile and I was like, oh, this is terrible. And so my boyfriend and I, Greg, at the time, were like, okay, we're going to train for a mile. And we proceeded to train, and it took several weeks to run our first mile, and I was so proud. So then we, slowly upped it 2 miles, 3 miles, and then we got to a consistent 4 miles a couple times a week, and that was pretty much where we were sitting for, years. And then, unfortunately, he passed away 6 years ago, and when I lost him, I was a little lost, as we can all imagine, and I was kind of just struggling, but I started to notice when I was out running that it was the one time a day that I would finally feel some breath of air. And it was interesting because it was, when I was running, it was like I could process things in a way different manner, and I could think differently. So my run of 4 miles quickly turned into 6, which turned into 10, which then turned into a half marathon on a really fast pace. And someone that I worked with at the time was like, you should train for a marathon. And I was like, you're crazy. I could never run a marathon. And they were like, you just ran 13 miles last weekend. And I was like, you might have a point. So I would say I went from running 4 miles a couple times a week to deciding to train for a marathon kind of on an impulse. So that was the start of the journey.
Wow. So it's really been less than 10 years that you've getting after the running in such, I don't know if aggressive, maybe in a very committed kind of way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, it's been 6 years actually this month since I really started hitting major mileage, and I'll call it's my addiction. Yeah. I 100% own that. I'm addicted to running.
Well, there's a lot worse things you can be addicted to.
Certainly do worse. You could certainly do worse. Yes.
No, I don't know. Again, it's one of those things, and I got lucky. I was encouraged to join a running group through Fleet Feet, and funny thing to know about me is I actually used to have really bad social anxiety. Like, I did not want anyone to ever talk to me that I didn't know. So joining a running group was my version of just like, you never want to do that. But my sister, who I love dearly, forced me to join. And for the first month, I stood in the back and did not say a word to anyone. And eventually, Paul, my running coach at the time, he's trying to interact with me. And I was like, oh, please don't talk to me. Yeah. I don't want to have to converse. And he was, bless his heart, trying very hard. Well, COVID happened, and they had to stop the training group. But Paul took me under his wing, bless his heart, because I really do feel bad for him having to put up with me. But he continued to just be my coach and a friend and help me get to all the places that I've gone thus far.
That's incredible. I mean, we should clip that and hand that over to Shauna, Paul, and Christina and be like, here's your testimonial for why people should start joining a running club and go on your journey. I mean, that is amazing story right there that they need to hear.
Well, and I think that's what a lot of people in general need to hear, because we've talked about this before, like going into these training groups, because Ross and I have both done some of them. I've done a few over the last few years, and it was a very hard thing to do, right? Because you don't know what you're getting into. For better or for worse, we always compare ourselves to what we see around us too. Like, so what if I show up in this group and I'm like, I have no idea, I can't keep up. I can't handle these workouts that are so challenging. I've never done this before. So I think the social anxiety thing is very relatable and probably more common than is explicitly stated. So it's good to hear that, I'm not the only one that's experienced this. Someone who's achieved, such high levels of running success and like done so much with running has also feels this stuff. So I think it's validating for a lot of us to hear that. We're not alone in the social anxiety thing.
No, not one bit.
Yeah, it's also cool too, because like when we've hung out at pub runs, I would never have guessed that like once upon a time you were like, stay away from me.
Totally.
No one talks to me.
Yeah. So kudos to you for making it happen. That's amazing.
Thank you.
I had a social anxiety when I joined my first Fleet Feet training program. I just hid behind a camera pretending I was making content, and that's what was really important.
It wasn't on. It wasn't on. He was just holding it up in front of him. It was
He's like,
that
this is
shield.
it.
Yeah. It was the literal shield. Like we all have our metaphorical mask.
He
Ross
had a
has
real
a
one.
camera mask.
That's what helped me get past kind of that social anxiety. I'm making a video, guys.
It's fine.
Yeah. So how many marathons have you completed, or is that a number that you're like, I lost count of that a long time ago?
No, I haven't gotten that many yet. That's the goal. Let's see. Chicago was my 15th, and then I have CIM in December, and hopefully that'll be number 16.
Let's go.
So just rolling from one training block into another. I mean, like, do you ever really stop training? Is there ever like just running for maintenance and just to like stay fit and healthy? Or is it always like on to the next thing, I'm working toward the next goal?
I would say up until this point, there's always been a challenge. I tend to be a person who thrives on having something that I'm going towards.
Yeah.
For me, the marathon was the first thing, and then it became, well, can I run a sub 3? I finally accomplished that goal, and then it was, can I run 2 marathons back to back? So then I went and did Boston to Big Sur, 2 marathons 2 weeks apart. Wow. That was insane, trying to teach my body how to like recover and deal with that sort of mileage.
Well, and fly across the country in between.
Yes, that was the harder part.
Yeah.
I strive for definitely having some of those. I will say recently has been the first time where I'm like, maybe I take a little bit of a deep breath and give myself I love to run. I'll be blunt. Like, I love to run. I'm like a kid. I'm like, oh, do I get to run now? Can I put on my shoes? Let's go. Let's go. Or a golden retriever. Like, let's be blunt. So for me, like, I know running will always be a huge part of my life, but I definitely am like, maybe I take a small break from like having 8 million races lined up.
Well, wasn't that last week in Kauai?
Yeah, I did take 1 week, and I only ran like 50 miles, so it's fine.
Hiked, to the top of the island.
I mean,
well, I think it's important though with running too. Like, if you really want to improve, to have something that you're working toward, right? Like, I do a lot of just maintenance running because that's what fits into my schedule. But when I get to have that training block, like in 10 weeks, I know where I'm going. Like, I know what's at the end of that. I think it's easier to lock into a workout and kind of push yourself because you have that goal on the horizon.
The carrot.
Yeah.
A lot of us, I definitely have talked to a lot of people who are like, I have to have a carrot, something in front of me that I'm striving towards that's pushing me. And that's so valid for so many people. Yeah. And that's why I have always been a huge fan of like the Fleet Feet training groups, because they make it also a little bit easier for that. You have the motivation of other people with the same goals.
Definitely.
They give you a training plan.
Yeah.
I'll never forget. So again, I knew nothing about running. So when they first told me that you actually eat something while you're running, I was like, oh, I'm supposed to, what? And I'm supposed to drink water during that too? This sounds complicated. And am so thankful that I had Paul and his experience and what he brought to just my life, because I was clueless. And if someone hadn't told me that you should probably drink electrolytes, never would have known that. And it was just having that, motivation of the other people in the group. Speed workouts. I didn't know you did speed workouts. And I also didn't know you're not supposed to run every run really hard. You're supposed to, what's easy pace?
Yeah.
I'm supposed to do that?
That was an eye-opener for me too. Yeah. You don't have to break yourself on every run. Save it for once in a while.
Well, the consistency and discipline you possess is certainly impressive. 15 marathons done, 16 coming up soon, 6 majors. Your favorite of the 6 majors and why?
This is such a hard one for me because
it's okay if you say all of them, but you have to give a reason why each of them is your favorite.
Well, the sad thing is each one of them was a different experience.
Sure.
I will say 2 of them were not my favorite. And not because so the cool thing, they're majors for a reason, right? And that's the cool part of this is what each, whether it's, New York, running the 5 boroughs, getting to run over the Venziano Bridge, and just the overall experience of that, it was amazing. However, the year I ran, it was the hottest and most humid New York City marathon in history or something along those lines. Let's just say I started cramping at mile 13.
Oh my gosh.
And pretty much had to walk the second half of this race. They had issued yellow flag warnings, so the heat was getting that bad where they actually if it got any worse, they would have had to potentially stop the race. So they're handing out bags of ice. I am sticking ice down my sports bra. I'm wearing a hat, luckily, because I did know it was going to be warm. So I'm sticking ice in my hat. It was just not the best. But in terms of what my favorite, Boston will probably always hold a special place in my heart because both of the years I ran, so one year it was a huge anniversary of the first woman ever running Boston. Mm-hmm. So that was such an empowering thing to be out there as a woman and to really have that celebration of a woman being able to run Boston and hearing Catherine Schweitzer's story about how she came and the fact that, yes, people tried to chase a woman off of the course and told her she could not participate in a marathon. So being able to be out there and represent women, being able to do this was so beautiful. And then the second year was actually the 10-year anniversary of the Boston bombing. Yeah. And so being out there, watching Boston come out in just the most beautiful representation of Boston Strong. And I was at the convention center when the actual 10-year hit, to the second, and they asked the whole convention to have a moment of silence. And it was just one of those moments, and I literally get goosebumps thinking about it because it was just such a moment, and knowing that you're a part of history and that they're recognizing that was such a tragedy and everything that happened out there. And I didn't know that much about it because I wasn't, I was pretty young when that happened, and I wasn't into marathoning yet, and I didn't understand. But being out there and learning part of the history of what happened, and one of the people that lost their lives was a child. He was 7 or 8 years old, and learning some of this and being able to honor what that represented, that they continue to hold this race, they continue to be what it is. It's hard to beat that.
Totally. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Wow. Talk about a memorable race experience.
Yes.
That's incredible. It's also amazing that your most memorable experience is one within the United States. I mean, call me maybe naive in thinking that perhaps it would have been an international marathon. Yeah. So that's really cool. America. And
Boston, baby.
I love that. Let's go. That's awesome. Do you keep your medals, your bibs, your race swag? What's your collection like?
Oh my gosh. So it's really funny because I have a stack of all the shirts, first of all, and I sit there constantly and I'm like, what do I do with I can't even wear them all. So I have come up with an idea, and I have not yet actually done this, but I think I'm going to take all of my shirts and cut out just the emblem area and then make a marathon quilt and just have a quilt of all my shirts.
Yeah.
Just because I love the memories that are behind it, and I hate that they're sitting in a drawer and never make it out of the drawer.
Well, and that's something too that can be a living piece of history where, as you accumulate more of those, you're like, oh, it's Boston 2030 and New York 2031, right? And you've got all these years pasted together on there. That's really cool.
I love the idea. And again, it's just a fun way to celebrate. And then when I'm sitting under the quilt, and I can be like, oh yeah, remember that one? And it's a fun way to hold the memories.
Yeah. It was so hot in New York that year. It was miserable.
That time I wanted to die.
Yeah. I don't think you realize the business idea. that you just started.
Yeah.
I bet there are hundreds and
I like
thousands
that.
of runners
Yeah.
out there that would be into
Trademark
having
Katie
equi-
Crane.
I
Right?
know, like
Can
October
we put this
2025.
we're deleting this whole segment so nobody hears it.
Yeah.
We'll pretend that wasn't said. I'm going to go home and start my business idea.
What a great idea.
That is really cool.
But other than that, I do have my, I keep all my bibs in a stack. I want to find something creative to do with them. Don't really know what that is. I typically do try to like write my time on the back. And if like I did actually place in something, I have all my medals on a wall medal thing. And I do love looking at them. It's in my office sometimes to remind me like, oh yeah, you did do something with that.
Yeah. They're not just sitting in a box in your bedroom like so many of the ones that I've accumulated.
The truth comes out.
Yeah.
You're like, ooh.
Well, what does it mean to be a 6-star finisher? I mean, that's amazing. There's a very small percentage of people that run a marathon, let alone like run the world majors and have an opportunity to secure that 6-star finisher medal. I mean, it's a hell of an accomplishment, Katie. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. What does it mean?
It's funny looking back again, as I kind of said, my running journey. When I first was running my 4 miles a couple times a week, I actually, and don't judge me, I used to look at marathoners and be like, why would you ever do that? That sounds terrible.
Agreed.
You're running for 3 hours, 4 hours? Well, now, so to be sitting here 6 years later, and it's funny that this goal didn't exist 6 years ago, but once I did my first, and I started to get this sense of just when you finish a goal and when you set that and then you get there, you get done, and there's just this sense of like, I just did something that I didn't know if I could ever do, if I could achieve this. And honestly, anytime I finish a race, that's that moment, and this is why I'm addicted to it and keep doing it, is because there's just, for me, it's like knowing that I was able to overcome myself in some part of that.
Yeah.
And to do the 6 stars, it was such an amazing experience. It was really hard. I'm not going to lie. It's really hard to get into some of the international races.
Yeah.
So Tokyo and London don't have time qualifiers. So it's either charity bib, lottery, which your chance of getting into that is like 0.0% basically. Or you can go with what I did and do a marathon tour company, which then, you basically pay for a hotel package and a guaranteed bib.
That's what I was going to ask is like with those ones, how did you get into them?
I finally, at this point I had done New York, I did Berlin, Boston, Chicago, and I kept just trying to get into Tokyo and London, and I kept entering the lottery. And then I'd get that email a couple months later, thanks, but you didn't get in. And there's a part of me that I guess due to how my brain thinks is like, what if something happens and I'm not able to run a couple years from now? Like, I want to be able to accomplish this goal, and sitting here applying for a lottery and never getting in was very hard for me. So finally I was like, I don't even care what it costs. Yeah. Let's go. I'm doing this. Like, this is the year. And it was funny because I planned it out, and I had London for a marathon tour company, and I was like, oh, that'll be amazing, but I guess Tokyo will have to wait another year. And then I got a last minute email from one of the marathon tours, and they're like, so we have these certain packages that we didn't sell out last minute for Tokyo. And I'm like, bye. Yeah. I don't even know. Bye.
We'll worry about this later.
Yep. I saw the price tag afterwards, and I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have pressed buy. But at this point, like, I don't even care, because then so what made all of this so special for me is, my family, my sister and my mom flew out to London to be there for my 6th. And it was just one of those moments where my mom got to come out, which was a big deal. My mom's never traveled internationally. She got her passport to do this. And knowing that they were there for that moment, because they'd been my supporters. I mean, my family has come and traveled actually a fair amount to come to some of my races and just been my rocks. And so for them to be at that moment, and I'll say it, so it was just, I cried so much at that.
Rightfully
because
so.
having them there and having them just be a part of this whole journey has been incredible, because my family's so beyond supportive. And having the 6 stars, I don't even know how to describe it. It was a very hard experience, but it's definitely something that I'm so beyond glad I did. And just for the opportunity to go and see these places, like they're places I might not have ever picked as a place to travel to. And then you get there and it's like, this is so incredibly cool. And what an opportunity. And to get to do it when I'm, young and healthy and can do all the crazy things and go run around and hike and whatever I'm going to do with it. It's an amazing experience. And it was a fun, every one of the ones internationally, I would always plan to go out for at least a week. So then I got to stay and tour the city.
That seems like the only way to do it.
Yes.
If you're making the commitment to go run this race, go enjoy it.
Yes. And the flight time, that is always the thing. I'm like, if you're spending that much time flying, you want to stay.
Stay. So looking at the 3 internationals, right? It was London, Tokyo, and Berlin. What's something memorable from one of those beyond like the family being there? Obviously that's priceless and probably doesn't really compare to anything else, but like what's something else that stands out from one of those trips, whether it's during the race or just while you were in those different countries?
That's actually such a great one, just because what's really cool about the international majors is on several of the courses, especially Berlin and London, you're running by and through historical sites. Like at Berlin, to finish underneath the Brandenburg Gate, you're like, I get to just run through this to finish a marathon at mile 26. Like it was the coolest experience. And it's interesting to see the different cultures when you're there. And I know I'm kind of jumping ahead, but that was something that I definitely found fascinating. I'd never really traveled internationally. And it was so cool to get to go to these historical sites to see, and the vibe around majors, that's the other part. It's insanity. Like London, there was so many people. London came out and cheered for this marathon, even though it was a little bit of a tough race for me. I will never forget just the overall experience and the vibe. Like, it's insane. People think this is so cool and they're out cheering. There's millions of people cheering for you. And if you write your name, this is one trick I did learn, is if you write your name on your bib, they'll scream your name and then you feel like you're like famous.
Yeah.
Go Katie. And you're like, oh,
okay,
yeah, I can do anything. Everyone's cheering for me. And you feel like you're like world famous in that moment. So definitely a really cool experience.
What about favorite food?
Yes.
From those 3 locations,
Oh my
which
gosh.
is what I think Pete was going for.
Yes, yeah.
So this is going to be a really hard one because I love food. And I mean, it's part of the reason I really have to run.
Same.
Otherwise, I might weigh 500 pounds. What was super cool, so I actually will say Berlin was one of my favorites, but the advice I got is I actually had a coworker that had lived out there, and it was awesome because then I got to ask him advice of what to do. And he was a super like foodie, loved to experience things. So
we love those kind of people.
Yes. So he gave me some of the best advice, and his first advice was, what you don't realize is that Berlin is an amazing international cuisine city. And I was like, oh, not just traditional German food. And he's like, no, it's like a melting pot, and they have amazing different cuisines. And so I took that advice, and while I was in Berlin, I did eat some traditional German food, but I went to some amazing international restaurants. So and it was so cool. I went to this Ukrainian restaurant. It was a family-run restaurant. It was a daughter, the mom, and the grandma. They all had their role that they played, but it was just the 3 of them.
Wow.
And it is this cute hole in the wall, and I took like one of those electric scooters to get there. And they bring out this cute menu, and it's all their family recipes.
Wow.
And you know that you're sitting there in getting to experience their life. Like, they're sharing their family. And I had never eaten Ukrainian food before. It's amazing and I was in heaven. And I was at first a little bit, because this was before I ran. I'll say one thing that makes me really nervous about traveling and running a race is I don't want to get food poisoning before the race.
Absolutely, especially when you're going around the world.
Yeah,
that's a huge time commitment, financial commitment. Yeah.
So
you don't want to mess it up.
No, I was so nervous, but I was like, wow, I really want to try it. And that was amazing. I ate Russian. That was amazing. Vietnamese, Indian food. Like, the food in Berlin, I'd go back just to eat and walk around because it was so good. But then, okay, I'm a huge sushi person, so Tokyo.
Oh, yeah.
Must have
Let's
been,
be real.
Yeah, another level.
I think, sushi every day.
I think you're supposed to.
It's a requirement. But there's a really funny, okay, so again, I know I'm going to cheat ahead because.
No.
But
You're not cheating at all.
I have to tell a funny story about this because, okay, I love sushi. Love it. However, when it comes to traveling internationally, obviously languages can be a bit of a struggle. And while we have amazing technology, Google still struggles to pick up Japanese characters. In a lot of menus, they don't have in English. And so you're trying to pick out what to eat from characters, Japanese characters. I'm trying to use Google Translate or Photo to read some of the things, and wasn't working well at this one restaurant. Very cute, complete hole in the wall. So I just ask for like their prearranged package of, sushi to try. I have no idea what some of these are.
Sure.
And you're looking at it and you're like, I don't want to ask, and nor would they probably know to tell me what this is. There was a few that I still to this day don't want to know what I ate. And it was so hard because one of them was like this crunchy, and I mean like it was super thick and crunchy and rubbery at the same time. And I'm sitting there, and of course they're watching you. You're in a restaurant. It's like a sushi person right in front of you. And I'm like, you don't want to look like you hate it. So then I'm like trying to get it down, and I'm like sitting there just like, it's gonna be fine, I can handle this, don't puke.
I hope this was post-race.
Yes.
Okay.
You're like, don't tell me you did that before the marathon.
No.
It was kind of comical.
Wow. I guess that's just one of the things you get to deal with when you see the world like that. Cultural experience.
Yes, 100%.
A cultural experience.
The life and times of Katie Crane, the runner.
Oh my gosh.
It's amazing.
I definitely documented a lot of the food. I'm not going to lie. If you go and look at my social media posts during that time, it's probably all food.
Well, you should. It's part of the memories.
Yes.
Clearly.
The best one.
Yeah. So you've run all these races. You've been obviously Tokyo, like you said, Berlin, London. Are there any other international marathons that you're like eyeing? Like at some point, I'm getting to that one.
Yes. So number one would probably be the Rome Marathon for me, just because. So the number one place I've actually always wanted to go is Italy.
Okay.
I'm slight Italian, and let's face it, Italy has so many things: wine and
best.
good food and history and just so many things. So I would love to do the Rome Marathon. It's in March every year, and so far it just hasn't timed out, but I think it's going to have to happen one of these years. They've now obviously added Sydney as an additional major.
Yeah.
They are keeping the original 6, so thank goodness. I didn't know at first if they were going to keep the original 6, and I was like, and I had them all scheduled by the time I found out about Sydney, and I was like, if they don't count my 6, I'm going to cry.
Yeah.
So I'm researching. I was like, oh no, they're still doing the original 6. Okay. So Sydney I think would be fun because like who doesn't want to go to Australia?
Yeah.
But I think, for the near future, I might have to cool it on the the international marathons because they can get a little expensive.
Yeah. Okay, so international. Are there any more in the U.S. that you're eyeing that you haven't done yet that you're like, that's one I need to go check off the bucket list as well?
Well, as you guys know, several of our local runners have done Grandma's Marathon, and I kind of would love to do that. I think it'd be a really fun experience. I'm kind of one of those people, I'll probably do anything. So if a friend is like, I'm going to go do this marathon, I'll probably be the idiot that says, I'll do it with you.
Yeah. Why not?
Exactly. Some people have asked, like, are you going to try to run a marathon in every state? Because that's definitely another thing. And maybe that needs to happen. I'm not sure yet. I think I have like 4 or 5 states, maybe 6.
Okay.
So it might have to, but we'll see.
Okay. That's a good goal too.
Well, speaking of marathons, you just did Chicago, and it was with a good friend, Annie Stratton.
Miss Annie.
Yeah. How was it?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'll caveat this. The race itself was not my greatest race.
What do you mean? You were like 7s. Like you're smashing it.
Oh my gosh. You're sweet. No, it was a little bit of a rough race. Just the traveling. had kind of some health things that day that I just was not on my best. But the cool thing is getting to run with Annie and having, so this is what I do love about our running community. I met Annie through, again, a Fleet Feet marathon group. Poor Paul, he got stuck with several of us crazy girls. His patience, I kind of feel bad for him, but it's what he gets. So I met Annie through a marathon. And what the coolest thing was, at first, actually, being honest, I was so intimidated by her because she's amazing. And I knew that the minute I met her and we started running, I was like, oh, she's something special. And it was so neat because previously I really didn't have, except for Paul and a few other, I didn't really have a female running partner. And then I got Annie and it was like, oh my gosh, all my dreams are coming true. So getting to have a running friend who, you know, has the same pace, she is absolutely just a blast. So what was neat about that is that was her second major. So being out there for that for her was cool. And then, yes, she was so sweet during that race because I was like, the first half was amazing. We're laughing, we're smiling. People, it was so funny. People were like, oh my God, you guys just look so cute and happy together. And it was like, I mean, yeah, why wouldn't you be? Yeah. And then I wasn't feeling great. And the cool thing was, I was like, Annie, you go ahead. Like, I'm not quite feeling it today. And she's like, no, I'm staying with you. We're running this together. And it was so sweet of her because she stayed with me the rest of the race and we ran the entire 26 miles together. Our finish photo, which we're both devastated because we really didn't get a good finish photo. We're holding hands as we cross the finish line. How often do you get to run 26 miles with a best friend and cross the finish line together? And she was beyond supportive. She could have left me in the dust and she didn't. So I was very grateful. Chicago's a fun city. We got to go for some great food.
Yeah, Chicago's wonderful.
Speaking of food.
Yeah.
Maybe
Italian
I judge
beef,
cities on food.
Pizza.
Yes. Oh my gosh, you're speaking my language.
Yeah. Those Italian beefs are something else.
It's dangerous.
Yeah. I feel like I could eat those every day. Clearly, it's not a healthy idea.
You're like,
but what is it? The giardiniera that's on it and the au jus. Oh my gosh. Yes, please.
Yeah, it's a dangerous place.
It really is.
We went to like a bakery and I'm like, oh, this is whatever. I'm not going to get that many things. Yeah. I got several things to go to take on the airplane with me because I was like, I'm going to need an airplane snack, right?
Katie, no. I brought an Italian beef on the airplane with me. I
had a late
flight. I had a late flight home.
You make me feel better.
At 11 o'clock at night, cracking open an Italian beef.
Smelling up the plane.
Oh my God.
No second thoughts.
Everyone was so jealous of you.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm just shooting.
I'm surprised that you made it home on that flight and no one mauled you for it.
Yeah. I didn't sleep after that. I stayed awake so that no one would.
One eye open at all times.
Always. Yeah.
Mighty hard not to go to sleep after one of those.
I mean, there's also that.
But it was so good. So good.
So worth it.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, this has been great. Thank you so much, Katie. I think we're going to take our first break.
Yes.
It's an exciting moment. We've got a sponsor for Pot on the Run. This break is brought to you by Dan Malden, financial advisor here in the Chico region. And now that we've both crossed the finish line at a 50K, Pete, let's think bigger, like way bigger.
No, man. Come on. My legs still hurt. I'm tired. I can't even think about running. I took the whole week off.
So wait a second. A 401k is off the table then?
Stop. There's no way I can run that far. I don't even want to drive that far right now, Ross.
I don't blame you. But hey, a 401k is an investment account. It will get you to a different finish line, a financial finish line.
I get it. I thought we were talking about running.
No, we weren't. And that's our guy, Dan Malden, is who we're talking about. And he can help you train to cross your financial finish line. He's a fellow Bidwell Run Club runner, and he's got the info you need to run your best financial race.
I always love that. I'm always looking to improve my training and my future. That's for sure.
You and me both. And since we're with a lot of people in the running community that are around the same age, it's definitely important to start thinking about finances and the role they play in helping shape your future. And Dan is the man for that. So give him a call at 530-500-2782. That's Dan Malden, a financial advisor, 530-500-2782.
That's right.
We'll be back. Okay, welcome back. This was so cool to listen to your marathon success and all the amazing stories surrounding your excursions on the road. Really cool to hear about the international flavor, including the food and running with Annie at Chicago. Just so neat. But one thing people may not know about you is how much you ventured into the ultra territory, Katie. You've really expanded the mileage on the trails and have done some amazing runs. So yeah, how many, 50Ks have you done, or your longest ultra marathon distance? Tell our audience just about your ultra success.
My ultra success. It's actually kind of funny. So ultra running really started at near the same time as when I really was starting to train a lot. But this started because my very first birthday, once I started, training, I was not looking forward to my birthday. And someone had told me that Paul used to run his birthday miles. And so I decided to run my birthday miles. I know you guys also partook in this. And I had to ask, is 43 going to be coming up? Because I will. Okay. Yes. I'll plan it on my calendar.
Yeah.
And I'll be there. I didn't get to join last time on 42. So I feel like this year I got to make it up to you. Yes. So.
Well, now it's for sure happening because Katie's going to be joining us.
I did the same thing. I ran 31 miles. And then after that, the next year I was like, okay, well now I have to run 32, which will actually get me a full ultra. So my birthday's in the middle of the summer. So it's kind of a challenge because starting at like 5 a.m., if not earlier, so that I'm finishing before the dead heat of the day was a little bit brutal. So I did this for a couple of years. And then one of my running friends who left the area at the time, but he lived here, he once was like, well, instead of just running your birthday miles, why don't you actually do a race? And I was like,
It's a novel idea.
Yeah. So I found an actual 50K on my birthday. So then I think that was for 33. It was down in Kirkwood, so down in wherever. I ran my first actual trail 50K. It was very hard. And of course, it was one of those, because you have to initiate yourself into the trail community. And I supermanned at like mile 10 down the trail. Oh. And I thought I was over the route. I was not over the route. And I superman, and I'm laying there covered in dirt. Something hurts. And I'm like, oh no. And I'm like at 10 miles into this 50K. And I stand up and I'm like, I'm just not going to look down. If you don't look directly at it, it doesn't exist, right? Yep. So I stand up and I keep running. And finally I come across a creek and I was like, ooh, maybe I should look and clean out a few of these. So I smashed my shin on a rock and I had a huge welt on my shin and dirt's in it and is bleeding. And I was like, okay, we'll clean that up. And so the route was interesting in that you kind of went up and around and then came back to where you started. And then you had to do it in reverse. So at the halfway point, I run down this, actually you're not running. It was the worst downhill I've ever had to go down because you couldn't even run it. There's like potholes everywhere and you're trying not to roll an ankle and it was gnarly. Or fall or who knows what. Well, I get down to the halfway and I have my drop bag and one of the medics comes up to me and they're like, so you know that you're bleeding, right? And I'm like, it's fine. And I'm like, I gotta go. Yeah. So I continue onward. And that started the tradition where so that year I ran that 50K. The next year I ran. So then my friend who encouraged this, I have really good friends, was like, well, you should choose a harder race.
A harder race? I don't know. So this is Kirkwood up near South Lake Tahoe, right?
Yes.
So you're at 7,000 feet, probably going up to 9,000 or 10,000 feet.
Yep.
Yeah, you definitely need harder.
Because why wouldn't you?
Yeah, that tracks. Yeah.
And it was so fun because it was on my birthday and like no one out there knew it was my birthday. And I ended up going for, I got myself a nice dinner afterwards. But then the next year.
At the Kirkwood Inn?
No, I did drive into a different town.
Okay.
Because during like summer, nothing's actually open
there. Yeah.
And I didn't know that at the time.
I know the area well. Yes, there's not a lot up there.
Yeah, no.
That's the 40 minutes into South Lake. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was it kind of started this. And then my second one, I did Speed Goat 50K in Utah. Oh my gosh, if you ever want to see some of the most amazing views and kind of want to die a little bit, go and do that race. This one was the day before my birthday. And again, my family, I just can't say enough about my family. My sisters both flew out and my mom. My youngest sister, Haley would have been 8 months old, not even, actually probably 6 months old at the time. So she brought her 6-month-old for her first flight, and all of us girls were out in Utah, and they came up and cheered me on. It's so funny to say this. It was one of the hardest 50Ks I've ever done. It took me not quite 12 hours, I think. It was so gnarly. And there's one point. So I'm not afraid of heights or most things, but I do have this fear of like sliding down something and just, I don't know, hurting myself, whatever. But there's a section where you're climbing up this hill, and this grade is not so that you're not even walking. I was down on my hands and knees, like crawling up this hill.
Holy cow.
Because I was afraid to slide back down.
Yeah.
You had to go through snow. So one of my favorite photos from that race is you had to come up it, obviously, at the beginning. And then at the end, you get to slide down it. So
Like on a tube?
Yeah.
no. So here's the fun part / not fun part is the day before they had done, I think, a 30K, and I had went to like the runner briefing the day before when I picked up my bib, and the race director gets up and he's like, so you do go through this snowfield and there's proper etiquette, and we're all like, excuse me?
What?
Am I supposed to have brought like an ice axe? What are you talking about? Well, he goes, you can get snow rash if you don't do this the right way. And so right at this moment, he's like, I'll show you evidence. And this guy walks by and he's like, would you just turn around and show your butt to the audience? So this poor gentleman had went to slide down, and his running shorts slid up, and he ended up sliding down on his behind down the snow, and it gave him a huge like ice rash that was like blood covered. It was so gnarly. So you're sitting there and you're like, should I be doing this race?
Yeah. Is it
This
too late
might
to
be
change my
more
mind?
technical for me.
Is there a shuttle from that point?
It was terrifying. I'm not going to lie. But I get up, and again, it was such a hard but amazing run. The views, because you run Snowbird. So you're running all around Snowbird Ski Hill. Yeah. It is stunning, but it was like you'd be doing this uphill climb that's, 4 miles long, and you're like, I can't wait for some downhill. And then the downhill was like this super technical, for like 3 miles, old riverbed. So it was like, okay, don't slide, don't break an ankle, don't roll here. And then I'm like, where's the uphill at? I need uphill. And then you'd hit the next uphill, and you're like, actually, none of this is, none of it's great.
Well, and if you're on a ski resort in Utah, you're probably up at 8 to 10, 12,000 feet.
Yes, it was extreme elevation. And of course, again, this is the middle of summer, so it's hot. Luckily, they were awesome. It's a UTMB race, so they're very organized. That's one thing I love about UTMB races. They had ice at every aid station, things to cool you off. It was great too, because there was also snow that hadn't melted here and there. So like I wore my hat, and I'm like putting snow in my hat, just trying to keep cool. And this was such a good lesson for me of just, with a lot of ultras, especially if you're doing them in the hotter climates or seasons, like trying to keep your body temperature from overheating is honestly one of the most important things. So that was the funniest race. I did slide down this slide, and I did not hurt myself.
All right. Mission accomplished.
That was probably the biggest win of the day.
I
was terrified.
Where's the payoff?
Way to build us up, though. Yeah. Keep us in suspense.
It was so much fun sliding down on that, but I was in my heart, because also thing to know about me, I'm a very spastic person, and I can hurt myself doing pretty much anything. So I was like, if someone's going to hurt themselves on this,
it's going to
be me. So I was so cautious. But it's one of my favorite photos, because you're sitting there and you're like a kid, and I had this shit-eating smile on my face, excuse the language, and I'm just grinning head to toe, and I'm sliding down, and it's my favorite photo just because I didn't hurt myself, and it was a blast. That was a hard race.
That sounds fun.
How long was the slide down the snow?
Oh my gosh, it was probably like, I would say it was a quarter mile at least.
No way.
Yeah, no. And then you kind of finished the really slidey part, and then you still kind of had to run through some slushy snow after that. But the slide was like a quarter mile.
Wow.
That's amazing.
And enough people had done it that now there's kind of like a crevice for you. And so then you feel like you're like almost like on like a bobsled, but it's you, and you're like, hoop corner.
Yeah. Well, that explains why people were getting injured, right? Like if you just have to like sit and slide 10 feet, like people.
Yeah, no.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, man, like what? How do you get like an ice burn on like 10 or 20 feet? Like,
oh no, the funnest part was the few people who were too scared to slide down it, so they tried to run down it.
Oh.
I might have saw some very interesting slip and slides, and I was like, ooh, good thing I didn't try that,
that
because
sounds like
that's how you hurt yourself.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like, that's a surefire way
Oh, yeah.
to end up with like a busted wrist or a dislocated knee, and like, well, so much for
my
this
arm
race.
went this way, my leg went this way, the rest of me went that
Yeah.
way. It was gnarly. So most of us were like, ooh, I don't want to do that either.
Yeah, just slide.
Just slide. If you end up with a raspberry, it's a really good story.
Yeah, it's better than a broken wrist.
Yes.
Way better.
Well, from playing Mario Kart in the snow to recent adventures, you just did something pretty amazing. It may not have ended up the way you wanted to, but you played the role of a hero and had pretty much an amazing story. Tell us about it.
Oh my gosh. So yes, I was set to run the Cascades Oregon 100 miler, and this would be my second 100 miler. And I was super excited because I had been training my little butt off, and I felt good. Part of me was a little nervous. I think we always are. But I was like, okay, I'm ready to roll. And we get up to Bend 2 days before the race, get some sleep. I wake up the next morning and I walk into the kitchen, and we had slept with the window open, and I walk into the kitchen. I'm like, I smell smoke. And so I instantly start freaking out because I'm, of course, up here for this race. And so I look on fire watch duty, whatever it is, fire duty, and I see that a fire started overnight just north of where the race is going to be. And I start freaking out because I'm like, okay, there's already enough smoke right now that the AQI when I woke up was like at 190. Never a good sign, right? So the race directors did a very good job in immediately sending out an email that morning, letting people know, okay, we know that this is going on. We still plan on holding the race, all the things. So I drive up. So I'm staying in Bend, and the race is actually, it ends in Sisters. So you started in Bend, you went through the gorgeous mountains, and you eventually end in Sisters. So I drive up to Sisters to kind of just go scope it. I've never been up there. As I'm driving up there, the air quality is just getting terrible. By the time I get to Sisters, it is raining ash. The AQI is at 350.
Damn.
And I'm sitting there and I'm freaking out at this point because while I am like I will always run, I believe in, like, I set a goal and I am going to do this no matter what, whether sometimes that's stupid or not. But there was a part of me.
Full commit.
Full send. Yeah. It's kind of a good or bad habit. Yeah. I don't know. But I'm sitting there in my mind and I'm like, I wonder if this continues, if they'll end up not starting the race or what's going to happen. Because as we all know, like, you, especially for races like this, you put in months of training. And so there's a part of me that's like, I want to run this no matter what. I don't care. And then there's the logic in me that was trying to win that was like, your health might be more important.
Yeah.
And
if you want to do another one of these.
Yes. And something that I did really learn, again, from Paul and the Fleet Feet group is just how bad smoke really is for your lungs as a runner. So in my mind, I'm sitting here trying to weigh all these things. And I'm like freaking out, actually. I'll be honest. I was having like an anxiety attack. And I go and I pick up my bib and I'm talking to them. And I'm like, how are you guys feeling about this? And they're like, well, based on the wind patterns, we think it's going to be fine. And I'm kind of looking at the wind patterns and I'm like, I kind of think you're lying. Yeah. But I was like, so I sat there and I really thought about this and I was like, okay, right now I'm going to prepare as if I'm running this race no matter what. And then in the morning, it'll be a game time decision because the smart person in me was kind of winning for once instead of the dumb Katie, and was like, if you want to do other things and continue chasing all these, because I had Chicago, I have CIM, and I knew that I wanted to still be able to be training hard. And if I really messed up my lungs, that could be detrimental. So I was like, okay, I'll just make a decision in the morning. And I wake up and it's beautiful skies and the AQI is perfectly lovely. And I'm like, okay, we're fine. So we go and we start the race and it's, 5 a.m. start, I think, right at sunrise. And it was stunning. So you take out of Bend, and it is just, honestly, if you ever want a runnable 100-miler, it's the perfect race. And that sounds so funny. Yeah. A lot of races, it had 12,000 feet of gain. So it wasn't a joke, but it was a lot of gradual. So it was like runnable uphill. And it was the most beautiful country. Let's face it, Oregon's stunning. And running through that, I got views of the sister mountains as I'm running. It was lovely. And I was having the best time. And even though it was a warm day, I felt like I had everything dialed. It was honestly a dream coming true. Like, I was staying on top of my nutrition. My stomach was feeling great. I was staying hydrated. I felt good. And I'm like, oh, I got this. So one thing to also know about me is I'm incredibly hard on myself, and I put a lot of pressure on myself. So I didn't actually want to know where I was in terms of positioning. I was like, I don't want to know. And someone's like, oh, you're third female. And I was like, I did not want to know that, actually.
Be quiet.
Because I know myself well enough to know that then it'll be like, well, now I need to do better. I wanted this race to be about me going out there, giving it my best, and stopping putting pressure on myself to have to get first or do anything. Well, then I come through the next aid station, and they're like, oh, you're second female. And I'm like, don't tell me that. I don't want to know.
There needs to be like a box on your bib that says like,
no talkie.
Don't talk to me. Like, don't care. Let me run.
Just let me go.
Yeah. I'm fine.
I'm fine. So as I'm continuing to run and I'm getting towards 50 mile, which right at 50 miles, there's an aid station, and I'm probably like 3 miles out, and I'm starting to really notice the smoke's it's rolling in. And I'm, of course, again, I try to be smart sometimes, and I'm like, oh, this is not good, because what's going to happen from here? Then ash started to fall again, and I'm like, oh no. So I come into the 50-mile aid station, and I kind of knew several things. One, the next aid station, they very specifically told people not to drop at because it's very remote, hard to get to. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I kind of have to make a decision right now whether I'm going to continue knowing that, because I checked purple air and I checked the wind, and I was like, this is going to blow all of this right into us on course. At this point in Sisters, the AQI was at 400.
Uh-oh.
That is blowing. It was a south or a north wind that day, and so it's literally blowing that right at all of us runners. And at mile 50, I was like, okay, this is a game time decision. I have to decide what I'm going to do. Again, at this moment, the volunteer comes over and she's like, so the first place girl just dropped and you're now first female.
Don't tell me that.
Yeah. Oh.
And did I say that there's a cash prize for first female? And I was like, dang it.
Right, yeah, because you're not going to drop out of your own volition at this point, right? The only way is like if you're forced out.
So that was the hard part, is I had went into this telling myself that I would drop out if I knew it was a smart thing to do. Yeah. But when someone then tells me that I'm in first female and that there's a cash prize, I was like, well, darn it. It was a really tough decision, because there was definitely the logical part of me that's like,
the right thing to do. The rational thing to do here is to just bag it and know that this is big picture, good idea.
But I'm very good at overruling that part of my brain when I want to. And I'm like, it's not going to get that bad, right? And I did ask the volunteers. I was like, have you guys heard anything? Like, and they're like, oh no, like we've been checking in with the race directors and everyone. And like, as of right now, like they're still continuing. And I'm like, okay, I'm going for it. We're going full send. I leave the aid station, and not 15 minutes later, the smoke is so bad. It is terrible. And I start looking at my phone because I have service. Oh yeah, the air quality is at 350. It is raining ash. And I'm like, darn it, that was the wrong decision. But I'm in this now. So I continue up, and literally I hit the hardest climb of the entire race at this point. And you're just doing these switchbacks up and up and up, and the air quality is getting worse and worse and worse.
You're going up into the smoke. Yes. The elevation goes up, the air quality goes up.
Yep. I was like, oh no, this is bad. But, I texted Paul. Poor Paul. We should really give him like a medal for dealing with me, because I text Paul and I'm like, Paul, I need advice. How stupid is this? And he's like, well, it's only your lungs.
You got 2 of them.
And I'm like, that wasn't the answer I was hoping for. Yeah. And then he's like, okay, what actually is going on? And I'm like, okay, I'm at mile 55, whatever at this point. And I'm like, I'm in first female because that has to lead. But the AQI is at 350 and it's raining ash. And he's like, well, Katie, what are you going to do? And I'm like, well, how bad is it? And he's like, well, you're kind of already in it. I mean, what's the decision? What can you do really? And I'm like, that's a good point. He's like, so if I were you, I'd try to get out of it as fast as you can. So move. And I'm like, good advice. Let's go. So I put my phone away and I'm like, all right, let's go. So I go into the next aid station and, do all my things, continue moving forward. And I'm feeling, and again, it's so funny because I'm feeling good. I'm feeling confident and I'm like, I got this in the bag. I was hoping to finish at 24 hours. I'm like sitting there, I'm an accountant, so numbers are my thing. And I'm like, I'm going to finish in probably like 20 hours. I'm going to beat my goal by 4 hours. This will be a PB. Well, it starts to get even worse. And at this point, you're starting to head down a ridge and I can actually see the flames at this point. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching the evacuation orders, and Sisters, the evacuation orders are now like right outside of Sisters. And I'm just sitting there like, this seems like really poor decision making because we're all finishing in Sisters. There's evacuation orders for all around it. And of course, being a Chicoan, and I literally have goosebumps because
this is hitting very close to home.
This is not I'm like, I know what happens in these situations and it's not good. And you have a wind that you don't know how this is going to turn. Yeah. Like, this seems like a really bad thing. Well, right as I'm thinking this, I am coming down and I'm trying to remember. I don't even know at this point. I think I was at mile 72 and my next aid station was at 75. So I'm like 3 miles out from the next aid station. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to make a decision at that point, whether I'm really going to continue, which to me, there's always what I call the point of no return with a race where you're like, I've already made it this far and I'm dumb enough to do this. So I'm finishing this.
Yeah, pot committed.
Yep. And so part of me was like, do I override that because of safety concerns? Are they going to override it? And I'm going downhill and it's one of those sad, beautiful sunsets because we all know like smoke and sunsets just creates a very beautiful but very heartbreaking because you know the reason sunset. And I'm bombing down this hill and I see in front of me a gentleman is trying to carry another man and he falls over with him and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I come running up behind him and I'm like, do you need help? And he's like, yes, actually I do. Yes. And there's a woman with him. And so I'm like, okay, what do you need? And so they're carrying a gentleman. He's a younger kid. He's probably 23 years old. He's a big dude. He's like 6'2", 6'3", big boy. And as I'm kind of finding out what's going on, the woman is his sister-in-law, and he's a diabetic. I don't know the full backstory, and I still don't, but he ended up having issues on course, and he was able to send a text message to his sister-in-law, who is at the aid station that I'm running to, that he was going down. So she immediately goes to the aid station people, and she's like, oh my God, send a medic, like he's up the ridge. I, again, don't know all the details, but the medics apparently came and couldn't find him, so they went back. So she leaves and starts heading up the trail herself. There was a gentleman who was running the aid station. He is a track coach up in Oregon. His name was Corey, and he went with her because he's like, okay, I can help. So they find him. His name was Joe, and those two are trying to carry Joe out. He is in and out of consciousness.
Oh, my gosh.
So you're talking dead weight, 6'3" guy. It is, Corey and his sister-in-law. And so Corey he's so calm. I respected this guy because I'm like, oh my, like I start having that, like, I'll do anything I can to help, but holy cow, this is actually like real. And he's like, no, we got this. So the sister-in-law would drape his arms over her shoulders, and then Corey and I would link our arms underneath him, and we start carrying him. And it was the most insane experience because, again, you're on so it was a very narrow trail. There's rocks everywhere. We're going downhill. There's like these really pokey bushes, and like there's not enough room for two people to be carrying a guy down this. And we're just like, whatever. And we would get about a quarter mile, and then we would have to set him down and take a quick break. And then we'd pick him back up, and we'd keep going. And we did this for probably like a little over half a mile. And then I'm like, what am I doing? Like, do we have other help coming? We're still like 2 miles out from the aid station. And he's like, I told the medics to try to send someone else. So hopefully someone's coming. And I'm like, okay, we're like, we got this. We're talking to Joe, trying to keep him lucid. Like, hey, Joe. And I'm like asking this random dude questions. I'm like, what's your favorite color? Yeah. What's your favorite meal? He's from Chicago. He's 23 years old, out here running this race. And he's run before, so he knows what he's doing. He's had diabetes for years, so I don't know if the smoke or it was also a very warm day. I don't know what the backstory was, but yeah. Another runner comes along and offers to help. So at this point, we have another person. So I think Corey took a quick break, and we just continued downward, carrying this guy down. And then, of course, I was running down at sunset, so it's dark at this point. Someone brings out some headlamps, so we're doing this by headlamp. Wow. It was the craziest experience. And I think we were about a mile out from the aid station, and a medic did come up with another person. And so he's like, oh my gosh. So he had brought one of those cloth like carrying things. So he lays it down. We put Joe on it. He wants to run a couple tests just to kind of make sure that Joe's like really okay enough to, I don't know. And we're like, okay, like let's get this going. So at this point, we all kind of, I think there's like 7 of us, and we each take a couple grips and we continue to carry Joe down the mountain. Luckily, the last half mile was a dirt road, so they were smart enough to bring the ambulance up. So he was loaded into an ambulance once we got down there, but it took, I don't even know, over an hour and a half, if not longer. I kind of lost track of time to carry him down that 2.5 mile stretch. And Corey, so the thing, right as I find them, Corey was the aid station guy, and he tells me, oh, they're calling the race at the next aid station, because of all the evacuation orders, the air quality, all the pieces that they're calling it. And it was just like this moment of just everything. And my heart broke, of course, because, again, you've put in all the training, and I was feeling so good. And let's face it, some races don't always that doesn't happen. Yeah. We can train months and go out and be like, this is the worst thing ever. Yeah. So to have the day where things are going right, but the way I will always picture this, and the thing I know is I was in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because
it's a higher calling.
Not many people, and the horrible thing is, and Corey told me later on, he's like, do you want to know how many people ran by me? And I was like, seriously? He's like, you were the first person to stop and offer help.
Oh, Katie, that's amazing.
And my heart broke, though, because, like, how could you ever leave another runner?
Yeah. What if that's in that moment that needs that emergency help and people are running by?
And so Vanessa, one of our amazing other runners, she was one time running SOB and saw someone go off the side, and she helped retrieve him and take him because that's what you do. And so
I just humanity.
Yes. Like, and Joe was like, I'm so sorry. And we're like, why are you sorry? Yeah. Like, you don't leave a runner behind. You don't. And that's what I find so amazing. And what then was cool is other runners did stop, and watching the community. I mean, it did break my heart knowing that there was a few people that did kept going and didn't offer, but it was really sweet because the next day, and I'm like almost like shaking, Corey found me on Facebook, and he goes, are you Katie Crane, who is bib number whatever? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, I just wanted to reach out and say thank you. Joe's okay. He's gonna live.
Good. Thank gosh you have like a follow-up because I'm like on the edge of my seat. Like, is this guy okay?
Yes. So we got him all the help he needed. He's great. But Corey was just like, you don't get like everything that took, and for you to stop and help and have the ability to carry someone out in those conditions, like. He was beyond grateful, and I was like, I don't even need you to say thank you, because that's, being able to help someone in their moment of need. Because as we all know, like, what if that's us? Something can happen
anytime.
I'm spastic and I hurt myself all the time.
Yeah.
And what if that was me in that moment? Like, I hope that someone would stop and help me. And so while there was a huge part of me that was like, should they have even ran the race, knowing some of the things? But I think all the things ended up playing out exactly how they were supposed to, and I was in the right moment at the right place at the right time to be able to help someone. And that above itself is just like the most important thing.
Yeah. That's an insane story.
Yeah, real life hero. I didn't realize that you were doing this before the race was called. I was under the impression that the race had been called, and then you were like coming back down and you came across somebody that needed help.
They called the race, so I did know that it was going to be called, I guess. But yeah, no, I technically hadn't finished, so my time includes an hour and a half of carrying time.
Still first female.
Yes, I did get first female.
All right.
I did get my cash prize, and I'm not gonna lie, that made me. I was like, well, all right.
Yeah.
No way.
They were very sweet and did honor it, and I was beyond grateful for that, just because it was like, I probably might not have continued moving forward. I will say, and again, so running in smoke, the next week, my lungs hurt. So the next day I kept coughing, and sometimes it would be a coughing spell for an hour, and I'd be like, I can't stop, I can't breathe. It was so gnarly, and I've done dumb stuff before with smoke. Let's face it, Chico, it happens. But that's like definitely a lesson I've learned is you don't play those games.
Seriously. Well, so I guess this is kind of a follow-up to that. And I'm not trying to like go away from that story, but I think you hinted at a couple things that are kind of interesting, worth jumping into. You were 70 plus miles into this run and had the strength to be able to physically help carry somebody, right? So, and you said, you'd been training for months for this. This was a goal that you'd been working toward. What was the training leading up to a 100-mile race like that?
So I will always say, number one, cross training is huge. I actually work very part-time at a gym here in Chico. I coach a couple 6 a.m.s. But so I am a firm believer that strength training as a runner is one of the most important things that you can do for several reasons. The first is just injury prevention. Mm-hmm. I mean, I do glutes. I do a lot of single leg activities. I work my adductors. I work all the muscles and tendons that we as runners use constantly. If you think about it, we are running on a single leg at all times. Yeah. Our 2 feet are never on the ground at the same time. And so you're putting so much work on a single leg. So single leg RDLs, like I cannot tell you, and actually at my gym, was that last year or 2 years ago, I actually did a strength for runners that was tied with feats marathon group. Okay. So if you were in either the half marathon or the marathon group, we offered like a 10-week strength for runners class at JS Strength and Conditioning, because I love, and I think it is such a valuable thing for runners to have a certain base level of strength. I take it to the next level because I'm insane. I am also addicted to the gym. It's a healthy thing, I try to tell myself, but strength training, a little bit of core. We use our core in everything. And the thing I have found is not only injury prevention, but in my opinion, it makes me a stronger runner. Mm-hmm. Like, we use our core running so much. And if you're not working those muscles, and when I say core, it's like your low back, doing all that uphill climbing, if your low back is not ready for that, the first time I ran a trail run, I was like, oh my God, my back is cramping. What do I do? And someone's like, your back is cramping. But it quickly taught me our bodies are so valuable to us. And someone gave me a quote. They're like, well, if you train like an athlete, you need to treat your body like an athlete's. Mm-hmm. And that kind of hit home for me, because I will also admit some things. When I first started running distance, I was stupid. I did not take rest days. I didn't know how to properly fuel, and not even just fueling during a run, but what you put into your body every day. Yeah. Are you getting enough protein? Are you actually eating stuff to fuel? I once went to a nutritionist and they're like, do you eat carbs? And I'm like, what do you mean? I eat like chicken salads. I'm so healthy.
Yeah. Yeah. Have some rice.
Add some rice to that.
Yeah.
And it really
noodles.
Changed my way of thinking, because especially, and I hate to say this as a female runner, I was very self-conscious of what I was eating and like my body type, and oh my God, some people still love to comment how much I eat, because I do eat for reals a lot. And as a female, that was a very hard thing for me to get used to, because I was like, oh my God, a girl's not supposed to eat this much. And now I'm like, oh no, give me all the food.
Yeah.
Because our bodies need that.
Yep.
Electrolytes. I mean, there's so many things that we can do, and it took some injuries in there to learn some of these the hard way. But strength training, stretching. I have like the Normatec compression sleeves. So if I'm chilling at home reading a book, compression sleeves are on.
I've heard great things about Normatec.
Which
Keep the Form and Real
Dude.
Deal Neil love that stuff.
And the best part is you can get them with your FSA or HSA card now. So you can use tax-free money to buy them. I just consider like they're just trying to get me to run more.
Yeah, that's all that is.
Very smart.
Ross and I have both gotten into strength training in the last few months. And the thing that I really notice, two things. The end of runs, I don't feel nearly as beat up. And then the recovery after runs is much smoother.
Yes.
I did the endurance race last weekend. Ross did a 50K 2 weeks ago.
And then proceeded to run something else. I was like,
bad man.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. No
Talk
big
about
deal.
the superhero over here.
Oh, you're my hero.
But by Wednesday of this last week, having done that on Sunday, I felt good again. I was like, my legs feel pretty good. I mean, I feel tired, obviously, because I just did the longest run I've ever done. But my legs aren't killing me. My body feels pretty good. And it's got to be the strength training, because that's the only thing that's changed. My wife, the physical therapist, has been saying for years, you need to strength train. You run enough. If you want to get better at running, you need to do this. And she's 100% right. And
has she told you I told you so yet?
Yes. Yes. Every time, see?
See?
Well, and that was part of the conditions for trying to do an endurance race or an ultra was you need to do strength training.
She's looking out for you.
She totally was. Always, yeah. But yeah, the strength training is a game changer. And I was never my whole life really into weights or strength training. Just didn't enjoy it. And it's at the point now where I don't not look forward to it.
I like that.
Yeah. I'm not going to say I'm excited about it, but it's not oh gosh, it's one of those days where I have to do some strength. It's okay, I'll go do some strength. I can handle this.
Yeah. My way that I always tell people, and especially I never actually used to be a Jimmy. I'll say that at all. I remember when Greg, my boyfriend that passed away, he was starting to do a lot of strength training. He's like, come with me. And I was like, I don't want to look like one of those weird cut people.
Yeah.
We have these perceptions.
Totally.
And it's so funny. And I hated it at first.
Yeah.
But then it became a competition with myself. I need to do one pull up unassisted. Yeah. But one thing I always tell people is find what makes it fun for you.
Totally.
Because not the same thing doesn't work for everyone. It's the same thing with running. Yeah. It's the same thing with anything. What works for one person is not going to work for someone else. And it's tailoring your fitness journey for you. Mm-hmm. And when you find the right thing, it might not be the greatest thing, but at least you don't hate it.
Yeah.
And it does make such a difference. Recovery, I now notice, my first marathon, I could barely walk for a week after.
That's how I felt after the half marathons I'd done up to this point. Is the next 3 days were hell.
Yes. Where now it's I'll go and walk right after, because I also believe that walking right after is the best thing that you can do. But I'll be a little sore the day of, and then the next day I'm all right. Chicago, I think I ran 3 days after.
Yeah.
And I was cool.
It's a testament to taking care of yourself. And, all the science says, too, with strength training is so good for longevity.
Yes.
Right? So, this isn't always, and Ross, this is something we talk about all the time. We're doing this now and we're fit now, but this is to, be able to do this.
You're training for life.
A while. Yeah. There's a lot of things. I'd like to go run around the world, right? In different areas of the world. And at some point, it's going to have to be later in life. I want to be fit and healthy enough to be able to do that.
Yeah. And I always make comments, because the gym owners that I have, they're in their 50s. And if you look at them, you would say that they're you'd be you're 35. Because the other thing is taking care of yourself. It keeps you doing things for so much longer. Yeah. It keeps you looking younger, which we all want. Mm-hmm. But it's doing. And that's what I always tell people is I want to be doing for as long as I can.
There's a lot of things out there that I want to still get to
exactly.
in life. Yeah.
And doing all these things and taking care of our bodies the right way is going to allow us to do all the crazy things for hopefully a really long time.
Yeah. I think for me, there's a few thoughts I have here. You increased your weekly mileage significantly leading up to the endurance challenge. Yeah. So I think, like, for me, running every day, running a lot of miles, like, my foundation and base has built up over time. Mm-hmm. So if I do run a 50K, I'll feel okay to get a few miles the next day, even though it hurts, or be able to do a half marathon. I'm sure you've experienced the same thing. I'm definitely not saying, like, that strength training doesn't contribute to being able to kind of feel better after a few days. But I do think part of that also, how you felt a few days after the endurance challenge, was due to the fact that you had bumped up your mileage significantly. Another thing about weightlifting for me is, like, after a month and a half, like, when you start to see the gains, or when you, like, lift, you go to bench and all of a sudden you're benching 10 pounds more than when you started, then it's like, this is cool. Like, let me get into this a little more.
Definitely.
And I feel better the next day when I run. Like, if I lift weights in the evening and then go run the next morning, I'm like, wow, I feel a little extra springy, or I don't feel as, like, tired as I felt. So it's weird how, I don't know, the body reacts to that for me the next morning after a workout. I don't know if you've experienced something 100%.
Similar. I think there's so many interesting benefits. I think one, too, is, like, recovery. Some movement is actually very helpful in recovery. And that's something that I think we don't always think about. It's like, oh, I did this really hard thing, so therefore I should now do nothing. And it's
I need to just sit.
Actually, no. So sometimes, like, when you're sore or something like that, getting a little bit of blood flow is so good for you. And so I think, staggering. So if you run in the morning and do a workout in the evening, I do think that can really help, because you're increasing blood flow to your body, and that's going to help with recovery. And then the next morning you're like, wow, I feel great. Mm-hmm. And I really do think that's a very valid point. There's something to be said for that, for sure.
Interesting. I want to get a list of the RDL exercises you're working on.
Oh, I could give you a long list of all the things that I do. Again, I had that Strength for Runners class, and it was such a good program. We ended up canceling it after. We offered a 10-week program. We turned it into an actual just, like, weekly class that people could sign up for, and we ended up eventually canceling it. But I would always love to give advice to anyone who ever wants it on strength movements. And a lot of the cool thing is a lot of these you don't have to have a gym for. Yeah. You can do a lot of things at home. And that's what's so neat about it, is people are like, well, I don't have access. And I'm like, no, you don't need to. Is it nice? Of course, you can do other things in a gym if you have that, but a lot of things you can just do at home and do those same basic movements. And in my opinion, it really does make a world of difference. So yes, I'll give you a long list. You might not like me after.
Ross,
you'll text me later and be like, I'm sore, I hate you.
That's what I need.
Ross, I'm thinking that maybe another pod field trip might be in the works.
Ooh.
We went and
do a workout with Katie.
Do a strength workout with Katie. We went and did the track workout with the Butte College team.
Yeah.
And, like, that was humbling. Maybe it's time for another big old piece of humble pie. Maybe we go do a strength training session with Katie and really, like, learn the ins and outs of it.
That sounds like a great idea.
Yes, it does. I like this.
That might be fun. If you're up for it, Katie. If you
always
can handle two knuckleheads that have no clue what's going on.
You guys are the greatest, so yes.
I'm sure you'll be entertained, to say the least.
If nothing else, it'll be funny.
You'll be laughing.
It'll be funny. So Ross mentioned this earlier, that you've eclipsed 2,000 miles for the year, which is absolutely incredible work. How do you get that many miles in each week?
I will say there's some weeks it got a little rough. As you guys all know, one of the things that I always, I guess, admire about especially our running community is we're training like athletes and maintaining a full life. Mm-hmm. And that's what I find is...
being an adult is hard.
It really is. I frequently call my family. I'm like, can I not adult? Because this is not fun.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because as kids, we can't wait to grow up. And then you're here and you're like, oh. Yeah. But what's neat about it, and again, why I'm always inspired, is because we do have full lives, raising families, work, all the things. Trying to fit in some of those miles does get really, really creative. I don't know if you've watched my Strava frequently, but I will literally, because I don't have time to go somewhere else, so I run laps around my entire neighborhood and see how many streets I can hit, and I then make designs out of it.
You
because
make
I'm
some
like,
good ones.
I know. And people, when I first started doing it, I kind of was like, this isn't that much fun and it's a little tedious. But now it's like a game in my head. And I'm like, I wonder if I can make a new creative way to hit this street. Or like, I'm going to do a lap around the same thing and then I'm going to cut off a block every time I do it. And it turns into a game. But I also am very lucky that I have a work from home job and my boss is awesome. So some mornings I'll start working at like 4:30 a.m. So I work for a couple hours, get my stuff done that I need to, and then I can go for my run at like 8 when it's a little bit easier to do, and then just come back. And that really does help. So I love that, my work balance happens a little bit easier that way, but it took a long time to build up mileage like that.
Sure.
But trainings, again, I had Tokyo this spring and late February, and then London, and then the 100-mile race. So there was a lot of miles trying to prepare for some of that because, training for the 100, some of those are just, you're trying to get so many miles underneath your feet and just time on feet, whether it's running or hiking or walking. I bought a stair stepper for my house. So like hopping on a stair stepper some days, I've done it during meetings and I hope that I'm not breathing too heavily when I do it.
Pouring down your face, like breathing into the Zoom mic.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm just going uphill again. I mean, I'm totally paying attention to everything that's going on.
Totally. I would never not, right?
Yeah.
I am also one of those people, I don't like to be on video during meetings, which helps this because people are like, well, you're not on video. And I was like, mine's broken.
Yeah.
It's weird. They're like, what are you doing right now? I also have a treadmill I have a stand-up desk at home and I have a treadmill underneath my desk. So I just walk and work most of the day.
Yeah.
Love that.
That's the Kale Smith special now.
Yeah. I have a coworker who does that. It's always funny when she's on meetings because I'll watch her for a second. I get a little woozy like watching her move.
That's where you need the GoPro. She needs to get the GoPro for image stabilization.
Well, it's me through the screen, but Josh Sterling, I think, lives somewhere around your neighborhood because he's doing the same Strava routes as you are. I see those. I recognize those.
We're really funny because we're always like, we should go for a run together. And then both of us have crazy schedules, but then we'll be out running and we're like, oh my God, it's you. And so we will end up doing a run together, not on purpose.
Well, and I think he's in Hawaii now, and you just got back from Hawaii.
Is he really in Hawaii?
You guys are like, ships in the night right now.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. That is awesome. Yeah, those good for you for having the chutzpah to get up and start work at 4:30 in the morning.
Oh my gosh, yes. I'm a morning person. I would rather get up early. Because once the afternoon hits, I'm always like, that's my time. Like, I usually try to be done with work by like 4 or 5. Yeah. And then that's my time to do,
live your life.
The other things.
Yeah. All the other adult stuff.
Yeah, because it never stops. But I definitely, getting up at 4:30. I used to actually run that early. And I'll admit, I'm becoming a little bit more of a wuss. And I'm like, I'd rather work that early and then go out at like 8 instead of be out there at 4:30 a.m. with my head.
Well, and in the next couple of months at 4:30 a.m., it's going to be 23 degrees.
Yep.
And like we've all done those runs. and 23 is rough.
Sure is.
If you wait till 6:30 or 8:30 when it's like 43, it's such a huge improvement.
Oh my gosh.
That's a good point.
Okay, I'll caveat this. I have a really funny story because you guys will appreciate this. So my family, I'm from Montana, and my family all still lives in Montana. So I go back frequently and visit my family. So, and again, I'm addicted to running. So I'm up there last January. It's negative 35. And I'm like, I need to go for a run, but I can't go outside. What do I do? So I'm like trying to it's okay. You don't have to run every day. You're fine. So I wait 2 days and it's finally getting warm. And when I say warm, it's 0 degrees. And I'm like, it's on. And my sister is like, you're not actually. And I'm like, no, I have to, or you're going to see a side of Katie you don't want to see.
This is an investment for all of us.
All of you.
This is for the family.
So she's like, fine. She gives me some of her hunting winter gear. I am like decked. And she follows me in her car. So I have a video, and she's like videoing. It's 0 degrees before wind chill. With wind chill, I think it was still like -10. I am covered in head to toe, as many layers as I can find. And my sister's driving behind me at 5 miles an hour. She's like, well, this is perfect. The girls can take a nap.
Yeah. Beautiful.
It was, talk about cold.
Yeah.
I never want to have to do that again because it's not okay.
No.
How many miles did you go?
4.
4. Okay.
4 of the worst miles you ever went through.
Pretty much. I'm becoming a fair weathered runner. That was not okay.
Yeah.
When was that?
That was last January.
Last January.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have some trips home, and I'm like, oh no.
Well, it sounds like you better get some warm gear.
I just borrow my sister's.
Probably better.
Luckily,
You
she's
don't need
about
it,
my
yeah.
height, so
Yeah.
it
And
works.
you need it once a year. Yeah, good call. Good call.
That's amazing. Well, here's some stats for you. So far on the year, you've done, let's see, let me confirm this real quick. I believe you've done 2,022.9 miles.
That's it.
I almost have the year in miles.
2,022.9.
You're going to go do that tonight.
I was
aren't
going to
you?
say, let's be really
2.1 miles after you leave here.
And just so you know, I'm right at your heels with 2015. So
What?
maybe you
Yeah.
and I could duel it out for the rest of the year to
I
see
like this.
who could get more.
Should we? I think like 2,500 at the minimum should be the goal.
Okay, you'll probably crush me, but
My
I'll
goal-
give it a shot.
My goal is 1,500 for the year, and I'm still a couple hundred shy of that, so good for you guys.
I'm sure you'll get it. man.
I have no doubt.
Hey,
The
thanks.
thing I have learned, though, this is what I always will tell any runner, because people are like, you're this, you're that. And I'm like, it's all relative. I
Sure.
train for this, and
Yeah.
it has taken me a long time to get here.
Years.
Like, you don't just, I'm going to go and run, 2,000 miles in a year. I'm like, yeah, you'll break yourself.
Yeah.
Because it takes time. Your body deserves to build up to that. So I always try to remind people, like, it's relative.
Yeah.
This is my level because that's what I train and have trained for.
Yeah.
Stupidity. It's fine.
Yeah.
Glutton for punishment.
Glutton.
Yes.
Well, and we're all on our, on our own running journeys.
Exactly.
You
I
know,
always
we
try to
all-
emphasize that,
Yeah,
though.
absolutely. Like, comparison is the thief of joy.
Yep.
Is what some
That is
people
the
would
best
say.
thing ever.
We're gonna do what we do, on our own when it comes to running, and luckily at the same time we can share these experiences with an amazing community in Chico too, and everyone's on their own journey.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's pretty amazing, and you've had a hell of a journey.
This year, in the last 4 months.
Yeah, just all the things you accomplished is so cool, Katie.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we know that coming up, you have SIM, California
Yes.
International Marathon. Are there any other races that you've already started definitely doing that one, or is it just well, I have some ideas for the next 6 months or a year, but I'm just gonna focus on getting through December right now?
I'll admit something. This is the first time ever that I don't have anything yet planned for the next year.
Okay.
That's a weird feeling for me
Yeah.
because normally I'm like, oh, I already have my next entire 2026 planned.
Yeah.
That'd be me normally. I don't have anything planned. I'm kind of trying to sit back, and again, I've spent the last 6 years grinding a lot of miles, and I've loved every single ounce of them, and I will continue to grind them. But part of me wants to ensure that I continue to find the joy in that, and that I'm not burning myself out. When I was training this fall, for the first time ever, I once went for a run that I did not want to do, and that sounds silly to some people because they're like, I never want to.
Yeah.
But for me, running is a joy. And so the fact that there was a day where I was like, I don't want to do this. I was like, oh no, that can't happen.
Yeah.
And so I want to make sure that I'm not burning myself out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to find this balance of Katieville, who wants to do all the things and sign up for everything, and also making sure that I'm not losing that joy for running.
Yeah.
And I also need to find another challenge, and I might have one. I'm actually potentially looking at signing up for a half Ironman.
Oh, good for
No
you.
way. Let's go.
I mean, Annie we were chatting, and I'm like, I have the best friends who peer pressure me to do super fun things.
Healthy things. Healthy things.
Yes.
Healthy things.
Oh yeah, we don't peer pressure to do drugs. We peer pressure to do Ironman.
Yeah.
But I was like, I did a Olympic triathlon this summer, and while I'm a horrible swimmer, the rest of it was really fun.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, maybe that needs to be the next thing. But
my joke with triathlons is that I don't really swim. So, like, if it's going to be a triathlon, if I can swap out the swimming for sitting in a hot tub for however long that swim
you're like 40 minutes in a hot tub. I got it.
I'm in.
Sold.
40 minutes in a hot tub would actually
That would be kind of hard.
Well, but that's the risk I'm willing to take.
You're like, that's more my risk.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Seriously pruned.
Oh my
so
gosh.
Pretty, so dehydrated. I drink so much electrolytes. That would be silly.
Yes.
Yeah, just be taking down the electrolytes.
Gosh, on that note, I think it's time for another break. And coming back, we'll get some good reflections from Katie Crane. Really cool to hear about your ultra adventures.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ultra
awesome.
Ventures.
Ultra Ventures.
Yes. And this break, as always, is brought to you by hydration. Drink water, drink electrolytes. You need that stuff. You're an athlete. You're a runner. Take in fluids.
Yeah, and I bet you were slugging down some water during the Fall Trail Classic.
You bet your bippy I was.
Yeah, I had a little bit. I was guzzling that water. I had some element salt. I had some liquid IV. And, if you're looking for hydration for your financial future, I know a guy who can help you learn more about that.
Oh, yeah? Who's that?
It's none other than our friend Dan Malden.
Oh, he runs with BRC, so a lot of us know him pretty well. But you may not know that he can help hydrate your bank account to ensure you reach your financial finish line.
Yeah, I just ran a 50K. You just ran a 50K, but I got to be thinking about my 401K. So if you're looking for some 401K or financial coaching, look up Dan Malden. His phone number is
530-500-2782. Look him up, Dan Malden.
Let's go. All right, welcome back. What an amazing conversation, Katie. Thank you so much for popping in on the pod and sharing just everything awesome with your running adventures. So cool to learn. We've got another segment here before we wrap it up. I want to get into a little bit reflections. Of course, Pete has his amazing questions. The rapid fire segment. Let's roll.
All right, Katie, these are really tough questions.
Now I'm scared.
Don't be. So
I'm shaking over here.
You can answer these however you see fit. And so, yeah, we'll just go with it.
All right.
Your favorite place to run, whether it's your favorite trail, your favorite race, favorite trail or road, whatever it might be, just your favorite run.
Ooh.
Up in the Pacific Northwest.
Okay.
I go up there and help out with my family, and it's just so beautiful. Next one is on Annie B. I mean, because Annie B wins everything.
Hey, very good. Yes, we can get on board with that. So just going up to the Pacific Northwest, is there a specific park or trail system or somewhere specific, or just like generally speaking, you just love that part of the country?
I always run for my aunt and uncles, and I love this run. It's a road that has some trail, and it's these rolling hills. Hill training galore up there. But I just love the tall trees and the whole Pacific Northwest vibe. Everything's green, and
it's
I'm like,
not 100 degrees.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yes.
So I always love getting to go up there because it just brings out, every time of year, it's like this green, gorgeous, and the tall trees. I don't know, for some reason, running through tall trees like that just gives me this, happy vibe.
Makes you feel tall.
Yeah.
Or small. I don't know.
That's great.
All right. So you're out for a solo run. Are you headphones listening to something, or is it raw dog, all natural, just going with your thoughts?
Oh, so headphones.
Okay. And what's in those headphones?
It's a variable thing. So some moments, this could be entertaining to have a series that's what are you listening to, Katie? Because sometimes I would never want to admit to it because it's like some random 90s, like who knows what, or some 80s song, or there's some current pop. It kind of depends on my mood a little bit. So it's a little bit of everything. I have kind of a running playlist, but sometimes I'll just put on some random Spotify. Like, give me some, I will say, I'm a 90s, like, alternative girl. Okay. So a lot of the times that might be what's on. Okay. I quickly found, so really funny, when I was first trying to start running, I could not stand to hear myself breathe.
I still,
I think Rossi said that a few times.
Mentally, you're like, I sound like I'm dying. I'm dying. So for me, if I am running solo, it was 100% music. And if I'm doing a speed workout, I want something that's going to get me like, all right, we need some yelling or some, not yelling, but need something to get me pumped up. Sometimes if I'm going for a slower run, I'll actually put on purposely like super chill, low-key
to help with the cadence that matches totally.
So 100% music. Don't want to hear me breathing.
Yep.
So NSYNC and Backstreet Boys.
It has happened. Don't judge.
I mean, like,
I'm not judging.
Yeah, if we're being totally honest, if I'm like really cooking, if I'm cooking on a run, like I'm feeling good, I'm doing some speed work, it's probably because I'm listening to Party in the USA by Miley Cyrus.
Yes, I have
That's a certified banger.
Yeah, if we're going to be honest about things. Absolutely.
That is always a go-to, though.
Yeah, right?
So you said 90s alternative. What would that be, like Green Day or
Soundgarden, Nirvana?
Yes, all of this.
Like
Pumpkins.
Yep.
Smashing yeah. Okay.
I can't even think what else. I have a whole list of just like great alternative music. I think music was just better then.
I'm with you. Yeah. You're a lot younger than Ross and I. We lived that time. It was a glorious time. It was a glorious time. So, this has popped into my mind.
I thought I was a little gangster listening to like Notorious B.I.G.
Well, you were.
Tupac.
And so was I. Yeah. In the suburbs.
In the suburbs.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely spoiled kid.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Had everything I needed and what I wanted. So, Katie, I'm just thinking, too, as an extension, this is a bit of a side note. It's not even a question, but, Katie Crane's running concierge, playlists included.
Ooh, a game changer.
Yes. Yes. Write that one down, guys.
We're going to become millionaires.
Yeah. Basically. All right. So next question. What is the best piece of running advice you've ever received?
Oh, that's such a tough one.
Maybe from Paul.
Okay. You want to know what Paul would tell me? Because he knows me. When I need encouragement, I tend to not want like, you're doing great. I'm not I don't want gentle coaching. So Paul, he had this way if we were running together and I wasn't going fast enough, he would just be like, with his hand and just like, come on, what are you doing? And I'm like, all right. And Paul's funny. He has given me, I can't even actually say everything when I talk. Yeah. Fleet Feet, our running community, we have the best one. BRC, let's face it. Yeah. This community, it doesn't get better. And Paul has definitely been a great coach for me, and he quickly learned what I needed. And it wasn't very nice always. So his encouragement and the best thing he ever told me, I think, was like, don't suck.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, all right then. Yeah. That's not really the world. But again, I tend to want a little bit of harsher coaching, a little bit of yelling's fine.
Yeah, but that's the role of a good coach, right? Is to figure out what inspires that person. What does the person need? Like some people need the softer, like, hey, you can do this. The real like motivational. Whereas, it sounds like you're just like, shut up and run. Like, just get this done. Run faster. Yeah.
Don't suck.
Yeah.
It worked for me, but I have been told a lot of different things. And again, when you start to talk to people in this community, I mean, I've talked to Logan. When I was getting ready to run my first 100-mile race, I was like, well, who else do you talk to about this?
Good plan.
Logan! Yeah. And of course, he's like the sweetest person and is more than happy to talk with people. And just, he gave me so much advice and different training plans, things to think about. Danny, I mean, I ran with Danny and it sounds silly, but his I am statements.
Yeah.
When you're in the middle of something that sucks really hard and because I don't know about you guys, but my mind will start saying like, oh, I can't do this. Mm-hmm. And it's easy for you to then immediately start thinking like, oh, I can't, you're right. And so those statements and starting to really try to reorient your brain of like, I am strong. And so it may sound silly, but I've definitely started running I am statements over and over in my head during a marathon once because I was like, okay, I need to do something right now.
You get to do this. Like you get to run. You get to be out here.
I get to do what most people would probably kill to do. And I want to appreciate all the moments while I can. One thing that's one of my huge things, and I even have a tattoo of it, mind over matter. And I love that on my inner wrist because sometimes when it's getting really tough, I'll like look down and I'm like, Okay.
Yeah.
Because I have learned once you train your body to a certain point and you're in certain condition, your mind is going to tell you you can't do something long before your body is ever going to stop.
Yep.
And so learning how to train your brain is the biggest thing you can ever do for yourself. And the thing I have loved about endurance running is it doesn't just count towards running. It's a life thing. Like the mantra for life is like, train yourself to do hard things, because okay, learning to do a hard speed workout and overcoming your brain that's telling you you're dumb for doing this and please stop. It translates to life, right? Life's gonna happen. Things are gonna happen. And if you are a mentally strong person, you're gonna look at that in a different way. You're gonna be able to handle that in a different way. And that is something that endurance running has really taught me, is like, I can do anything if I actually like set my mind to it and don't give up on myself.
Yeah.
And you have to believe in yourself. And that's what running has really taught me, is like, I have to be my cheerleader. I have to believe in myself, or none of this is ever going to happen. I have to believe in myself. I have to train my brain to overcome all the things when it starts saying I can't. Yeah. And some of the best advice is, those I am statements, I love them.
Yes.
It is such a, because we can be so hard on ourselves.
Well, and
we're
there's
our
a lot
worst
of
critics.
Yeah, and there's a lot of outside pressures to make you feel like you can't do stuff.
This is so good. I mean, everything that we want is on the other side of discomfort.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I mean, when we get this, motivation to kind of go away from our reflexive tendencies, to kind of be deliberate about constantly focusing on the things that we want, because it's going to make us improve, improve is I'm proving. I mean, that's essentially like what's happening when you continue to tell yourself. So your mantra there with mind over matter's amazing. I love that you went to Logan for the 100-mile advice. When I just completed this 50K, I had an experience during that race where I couldn't convince my body to go faster, even though my mind wanted it to go faster. And I was running a distance that I've never ran before. And so I asked Logan afterwards, like, when you've encountered that, what do you do? And he said, well, you have to understand that you just ran a distance you've never ran before.
Yes.
So now you know what that feels like. So the next time you do that, you're going to be a little bit better. And that just was like the most amazing thing to hear from him. I was so grateful that he shared that with me, because it kind of gave me that sort of little
clarity.
Yeah, it was like, okay, it built a little bit of confidence in me that like, okay, the next time I go out and do this, I'm going to know what this feels like. Yeah.
Well, and I also hate to say this, but sometimes I feel like it also helps to know that other people struggle in their journey, right? We tend to see the good things that happen. Like, we post the run that went really well, we post this, but what we all don't realize. So then when we have a bad one, we're like, oh my gosh, like I'm failing. I've definitely had those moments where I'm like, wow, that was a really bad run. Like I can't do this. Yeah. But having the acknowledgement from other runners that like, oh no, that moment does happen. And it happens for even the best of runners.
Frequently.
Yes.
Even. Yeah.
I'm a quote person, so I love quotes all day long. And it's like one of my other favorites is like, comfort is a beautiful thing, but nothing ever grows there. Mm-hmm. The minute you get comfortable being uncomfortable, the world's yours. Yep. And that's the thing that we all like. It's a very interesting, and I love that you brought that up, because you have to learn to get outside your comfort zone, or you're never going to be able to fully grow into something else.
Oh, I'd say you've succeeded at that big time with your running journey. And
so I'm going to switch up my next usual question.
Okay.
And I think we've kind of hinted at some ideas for this already. And it's looking back at your younger self when you're starting to run, what advice would you give 6 years ago, Katie, 7 years ago, Katie, who's just starting to run? Like, what would you tell her at mile 1?
The first thing I would always say is never give up on yourself. Because you have to believe in yourself first. And there has been so many parts to this journey for me where I have doubted myself. I have had insecurities that have really become struggles and things I had to fight through. And there's moments where I was like, I can't do this. Like I'm going to give up. And learning and being just confident in I can do this, and not giving up on yourself, having the faith that you can do anything. The second would be give yourself grace.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I once saw this, it was an interview with an Olympic coach, and he said, and he had given this advice to one of his runners, and I love this piece of advice, and I think I have told probably at least 10 different people this advice, because we all have bad workouts. But what he was talking about is training to certain levels. There's the law of thirds. A third of your runs you're going to hate, and they're going to suck, and they're going to be really hard, and you're going to feel like you're failing. A third of your runs you're going to feel average, like that was a decent run. It wasn't anything, wonderful, but it was great. It was fine. A third of your runs are going to feel great. You're going to be like, that's why I run. Mm-hmm. But he said that is a normal balance too, if you're running at the right level.
Interesting.
Yeah. And
I kind of appreciated that, because he was giving this advice to one of his runners who had just had a terrible speed workout. And she's like, I can't do this. Like, I'm failing. And he's like, that's normal. That means you're working. Yeah. If you never try, and it's like we're sometimes scared to fail, so we don't try. Mm-hmm. But it's like you have to try, and you fail, but that's part of the journey. Yeah. And I think I'm a person who's very scared of failing. And so I used to not want to do things because I was terrified that I wouldn't be able to. So therefore, it made more sense to just not do it. And
it ties right into the social anxiety we talked about at the beginning, right? Like,
I'm like a fun mess.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But it really, for me, it's learning to like give myself grace, have the understanding that like not every run is going to feel magical and perfect. There's going to be workouts where I remember I one time walked out of a workout at Fleet Feet. We were doing laps around Wildwood, and I was going through a lot of personal things at the time, and I was having a workout where I was like hyperventilating and actually having a panic attack. Yeah. And I walked out and left, and Paul texts me and he's like, what just happened? And I'm like, I'm failing. I can't do this. And it was that moment where he was like, you're not failing at anything. Mm-hmm. That's what happens. Yeah. It gets hard, and it's knowing that you can overcome that. That's why we're here.
Yeah, and making it through those 1/3 of shitty runs or workouts, like that's where it's like, okay, I'm making progress. Those great workouts are great, and they feel so awesome. And you get something out. I mean, you get the validation that all that other hard work is showing because this was a great workout. But if you don't push through that shitty one, then you don't know how great it is when you do have that really great workout.
And it's those hard workouts that I go back to when I'm sometimes in a race, is because you know what it then feels like to overcome the shitty moments.
Yeah. I did those mile repeats. I did those 45-minute threshold workouts. Like,
that time I wanted to puke in the garbage can, it was fine.
Yeah, I puked that time. I'm not going to puke this time.
Maybe the other key to life outside of like embracing the discomfort is just reframing our mindset around failing. Mm-hmm. Like we're not failing.
No.
Like
failing is
what
succeeding.
if you're never failing?
Yeah.
Like
just constantly growing.
You're constantly growing.
Yeah.
I had a shitty BRC last interval the other day during our intervals. We went 400, 800, 1200, 800, 400.
Oof.
And the last 400, I was just like not where I wanted to be. I wanted to have a good last push, and I was kind of struggling.
Yeah.
And it was like, I didn't feel good after that run. It was like driving home. I was like, dang, I wanted to end with a good rep, and I didn't have that good rep. But I feel better now after hearing this conversation.
Right?
So thank you, Katie.
You're welcome.
So I got one more question for you, Katie. This one is very much lighthearted. And I think it's a good way to kind of wrap things up.
True.
So we've already agreed that we're foodies. We like to eat, right? So you've just finished a race or a really hard run. What are you craving? Like, what's like, I need to eat this now? Like, what is the go-to?
Good. I love food, so this is such a hard one for me because sometimes it's actually like indecision because I can't decide what out of all the things I actually am going to eat.
Get it all.
I love me some pizza, but God, a burger and some sweet potato fries.
Okay.
Oh, come on.
Okay. So follow up to that. If it's a burger in Chico, where's it coming from?
Oh, that's such a hard one for me. Okay, sweet potato fries is where I'm going to sell this point because I actually judge everyone on their sweet potato fries. Okay, Poorhouse has some decent sweet potato fries, and I love that they're on happy hour, so me and their sweet potato fries have a hookup.
Okay.
What is it? I'm going to forget the name of it. It is out on 20th Street next to the sushi place. The Handlebar.
The Handlebar.
So they have waffle sweet potato fries. They're a game changer.
Out of here.
Okay.
I didn't know that was a thing. I thought I had to go to Carl Jr. to get my waffle fries.
No, a waffle sweet potato fries. But here's it. Okay, so I got an air fryer recently.
Yeah. Game changer.
For sweet potato fries. And there's a place in I think at Rayleigh's. They make sweet potato tater tots.
Wow.
And in an air fryer at home.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a game changer. I love food. And okay, so here you go. I've thought of one meal that I actually do love to do. It is salmon. So you soak these boards, like you get these, I don't know, certain boards. Cedar, thank you. And then I do a salmon that has a rub that's like smoked paprika, brown sugar, salt and pepper. Rub that on the salmon, put the salmon on the board, roast it on the barbecuer, and then I do some rice, some avocado salsa on there. Wow. That's my meal because protein, good. Carbs.
Yep.
That's probably actually one of my go-tos. I eat that once a week, I'm not going to lie.
So what are you guys doing after this?
We're going to go cook salmon at Katie's.
Yeah. Sounds like salmon. I don't know. That's what it sounds like to me. This has been wonderful.
Yeah.
No,
Katie,
thank you
Katie.
guys.
Oh.
Yes.
I was very nervous and you guys have made this so easy and fun. I forgot that I was actually like being, interviewed.
Yeah,
I was like, this is actually just a
too.
conversation and fun.
Yes.
Yeah, it was organic and so cool to hear about your running journey, and just we appreciate how prepared you were coming in today. You can tell you thought about this, and that means a lot. And I think it lends itself to a really successful recording and something that will be interesting for our viewers to listen to.
Yeah, and something too that I've walked away from, and I kind of got this from Logan as well, right?
Yeah.
You guys run at a level that really not a lot of people run at, right? As far as like speed and like the level of the races and the difficulty of the races. And it's very easy for athletes who are at such a high level to be pretentious and hard to relate to and aloof and not easy to talk to. And you are so friendly and so incredibly relatable. And I think that's something to definitely be proud of, obviously, but it's made this conversation so enjoyable that, I'll never run a sub-3 marathon. I'm not going to go run 100 miles. I'm not going to carry somebody off a mountain, most likely. But just to know that you face these challenges with, trying to find the balance in life. Like, how am I going to get these workouts in and get my adulting done? The social anxiety with joining these run groups that, I've certainly faced. I think you're very relatable, and I hope I think that came through really nicely in this. And you're not, it's been very great to chat with you and learn more about you.
Thank you guys. I felt so privileged when I was asked because, it's such an honor, especially with the people you've had on here. Like you said, it's so funny because I one time actually told Logan to his face, I was like, how are you not more pretentious?
Right? Right.
He's like, excuse me? And I was like, you don't get it. Like, how you're not like sponsored and running for 8 million different running companies, I don't understand. But the fact of the matter is, he would never, ever be that. And that's what's so cool about our community, and that's why I absolutely love it. And so the fact that you say that, I almost started crying because I appreciate hearing that.
Yeah.
I think I try because that's what I think makes our community great, is like we all are at different places, but we all are a community, and we're all striving for something. And I always want to have people support me and be friendly and outgoing, especially when I was antisocial and didn't want to talk to anyone. But that's what makes it cool. And like showing up to BRC and like everyone there being the most welcoming and saying hi, and it doesn't matter who or what you are, what your pace is, but that's what I love about this. We're all at different places, we all have different abilities, but the fact of the matter is we're all out here for the same goal, and it's super cool. And I love our community because let's face it, everyone is so friendly, it's almost stupid. Right? You're like, how is it possible? Is this like a reality, or am I in a dream?
It's the truth. It's the truth. Yeah.
Let's go. All the warm fuzzies to end this show. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love
well,
that.
thank you guys for having me. It's been an absolute honor.
It's been such a long time coming. I mean, we like months ago were like, we got to get Katie Crane on.
Where are we going to go with this?
You were like at the top of the list of people we really wanted to talk to. So
most definitely.
Yeah.
This has been wonderful. Lots of things coming up in the community in the next few weeks as well. I think we should probably hit on that again. Next weekend, Almond Bowl, 10K and 5K race.
Yeah.
A Fleet Feet event. Sign up for that. I know Sim is coming up. There's a lot of folks in our area that are running Sim.
Yeah.
So those of you who are training, stick with it. You're almost there. You got to have peak week coming up pretty soon here, and then start the taper.
Yeah.
December 7th, I think, this year.
So a little over a month and a half, about a month and a half or so.
Yep.
Less than that, because we're in the last week of October.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it's coming fast.
Yeah.
Happy Halloween.
Happy
Halloween.
My.
Spooky season is here.
Spooky season is here.
Is there a BRC run on Wednesday night in the costumes?
BRC costume run.
Yes, there is.
I'm going to be out of town, but man, I got to see pictures.
We had such a good plan.
We did.
Too.
I'm sorry to ruin it.
What was the plan? Do I get to hear it?
Maybe
You're like, next year.
Save it for next year.
That's
a
fair.
Mike O'Connell
That's fair.
Idea.
Yeah. Speaking of which, he'll be on the pod soon.
Yeah, we got Mike O'Connell coming up soon. Can't wait to chat with him.
There's a race November 8th in Paradise.
Yes.
A little event to commemorate the campfire. So very special run up there happening on the ridge.
5K and pancake breakfast.
Yeah.
So support our extended community up there.
Yeah.
Frost or Fog coming up in January.
Yeah. I've never done that.
It's a good one. You should do it.
Yeah.
You have to do it.
Basically, last year was I was kind of starting my running journey.
Yeah.
So hadn't really branched out to the local events.
Yes. Check that one out. Oh, also, just a congratulations to friend of the pod, Ryan Alcantar.
Yeah.
Ran his marathon today in Las Vegas. Did really well. So, Ryan, we see you. Good work, man. Congratulations.
Vegas, baby. What a stud. That's
Very
awesome.
Cool.
Huge congrats.
Yes.
Do you think he pulled some slot machines to celebrate?
I hope so.
Yeah, come on.
I hope so. Hope he comes back with...
He has to gamble 26 times, right? I mean,
Exactly.
$26, there's got to be something in there.
Definitely.
That's great.
Well, Ross, it's been another fun time. Katie, thank you again.
Thank you, guys.
We'll see you guys out on the trails like we always do, stacking up miles and
Let's roll. Yeah.
making smiles.
Yeah.
I like that.
Smiles.
Miles and smiles.
With warmth and gratitude.
That's right. Finish lines, not finish time.
Oh, love that.
Yes,
Thanks,
sir.
Katie.
Yes, it's that
Thank
time.
you.
Nailed it.